they call populist every single person that sits on the right. How would you define populism?
Well, there are several definitions of this kind of movement. And there is a sort of negative connotation of right-wing populism. Now we will talk about it, and also a more positive aspect related to it. Um, First of all, mainstream media refer to right-wing populists, to whoever doesn't align to politically correct, to the establishment, and there's a very different and heterodox opinion about mainstream topics such as illegal migration, economics, European integration in the case of my own country. So people will come up with different ideas from this stream and try to distinguish themselves as original leaders who are trying to persuade the people of the quality of their own ideas, are often mislabeled as right-wing populists. That's not the way to relate to this phenomena. I don't agree with right-wing populism when this phenomena means a sort of interference of the political force in the life of the individual. When the state tells you what to think, what to do, and even how to spend your money, that's the kind of populism that is worrying me, because it promotes a sort of nationalistic view that doesn't coincide with individual freedom, with economic competitiveness, with the desire for a freer and open society. Right-wing populism, some movements in Europe are opposed to my kind of societal beliefs. There are some movements that are
Can you name
making,
some examples just to illustrate?
yeah,
Uh,
for instance, Alternative für Deutschland in Germany. It was born like a Tea Party movement, and it was in the center right of the political spectrum. But nowadays, it has moved farther to the right. And, it has a kind of chauvinist rhetoric that doesn't please me at all. When they told that, there are big superpower that must control us because we are not decisional capacity. For example, they're very prone to Russia, to Putin's regime. That's
yeah.
not the way to react to the brutal aggression of Ukraine.
Hmm.
And from an economic side, they also try to catch different ideas that are not compatible. For example, if you are for laissez-faire capitalism, you want to reduce bureaucracy and to cut and dismantle the administrative apparatus, you cannot come with the idea of welfare chauvinism, of making more subsidies to national industries and even to your own citizen. If you're for free markets, you must deregulate. You cannot make more subsidies to your industries and so on. So there are some incongruencies in this movement. The Rassemblement National of Marine Le Pen is making significant progresses forward,
Yeah.
and its youngest leader, Jourdan Bardella, is really an interesting figure because it's an example of a new generational perspective. Is very keen on the themes of civil rights, for instance, is not as socialist as Marine Le Pen, and is trying to, rebrand the National Rally as a more modern and moderate party. So it's um, giving a different path from Jean-Marie Le Pen's party, which had held anti-Semitic prejudice. It was strongly opposed to NATO. It was too firmly nationalistic.
Hmm.
There is another side of populism that nobody talks about. My favorite philosopher was the noble father of the American anarcho-capitalism. He's called Murray Rothbard, a libertarian thinker. And back in 1992, he wrote an essay called Right-Wing Populism, but he was thinking about a very different concept. He was not referring to demagoguery, to nationalism. He was ideating a new alliance of center-right movements that wanted to react against the omnipresence of the central government in order to cut taxes, to make people more aware of their importance in their own lives. They sort of created a different way of life. That is Rothbardian right wing populism. It is strongly related to libertarianism and wants to enhance the power of the individual by reducing or even eliminating coercion from the state. And that's really the opposite of what I previously described. If populists try to refer to a collectivist kind of group, my nation, your nation, my borders, your borders, my culture, their own culture, the populism which was theorized by Rothbard managed to unite libertarians with conservatives and to create a broader alliance to defeat high taxes, high regulations, and the interference of central government. The individual is the only person that is able to know what is good for its own life, to make decision about their mind and their own body without the arbitrary interference of others. That's the meaning of Rothbard's message.